Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And good evening, everyone. Of course, we are starting with this historic winter storm expected, when it's all said and done, to impact more than 235 million Americans across nearly 40 states. The storm started Friday in some parts of the country and will carry through to Monday. Monday for us in the tri-state area can't get here fast enough. Dominic Carter here with you. The number to reach us live from now until 1 a.m., 800-848-9222. Hope you had a lovely and fantastic weekend, obviously considering the weather, taking that into consideration. So snow totals had reached 8.8 inches in Central Park by just this afternoon, according to the National Weather Service. And it's even impacting the subway system. The subway system. Riders are reporting potentially dangerous snow buildups on platforms. And even, I find this hard to believe, inside train cars. This is all based on what people are posting photos on social media. And for example, for the outdoor service for subways, they had to, for the 4 train in the Bronx at the 176th Street station, you could see at one point MTA crews that were out there shoveling piles of snow off of the train platform. So we're dealing with that. Students at New York's largest charter school network will get a full day off tomorrow. But if you are a public school student, you will not be physically, obviously, going into school, but you don't have the day off. It's a day of remote learning, according to Mayor Mamdani. We'll break that all down. And, of course, we're reviewing what happened in Minneapolis Saturday morning. President Trump stating that he's reviewing everything about the fatal shooting of that armed Minneapolis protester, and he's saying that the feds, the agents that is, will leave the city at some point. So President Trump says his administration is reviewing the fatal shooting of that armed ICU nurse, Alex Preddy, who was protesting ICE in Minneapolis Saturday morning before Border Patrol agents shot him dead in the street. Apparently some type of scuffle, and it did not end well. But let's start with the weather, and I want to know, how are you folks coping with this? How are you dealing with this? 800-848-9222. I want you to listen to this. This is ABC 7 in New York. Snow piling up not far from where I live at in Rockland County in Mahwah, New Jersey.
Hey, Phil, it's pretty busy here in Mahwah as far as the plow trucks. Hey, we've been waving at plow truck drivers and truck drivers all morning, but I want to show you the accumulation, and it's a big difference from just the last half hour. So Andre's going to show me. You can't tell the difference, first of all, between the sidewalk and now the ground. It's somewhere in here. Here it is. That's how much snow has accumulated over the past 30 minutes. So it's really starting to stick and continue. And this is freezing conditions, but it's the roads that people have been keeping an eye on. The governor is warning people like New Jersey State Police to stay off the roads. We saw a parade of plow trucks come through here, and we're going to get to that video to show you that. That is what we have been seeing all morning. At least 10 plow trucks in a row, one behind another, holding up traffic, but for their safety. It shouldn't be a lot of cars on the road to begin with, according to officials. They want you to stay off the road, but if you have to, go slowly. Those plow trucks are helping you go slow. Police have also been urging the same thing across the state of New Jersey. New Jersey Transit, as of 8 this morning, they have shut down the buses. At 2 p.m. this afternoon, they will also stop the trains. So this is affecting public transportation, and the goal here is to keep you off the roads, keep you inside, because even if you come out, it's freezing, so you can't stay out here that long. We also spoke with, we're near a diner. It's a pretty popular diner here in Mahwah. It's a staple here, statewide diner. I spoke with workers and customers. One of the customers, she just drove in from Hackensack, New Jersey, and she described the conditions on the road.
I have a love-hate relationship with the snow. I don't mind driving in the snow, but it's everybody else you got to watch out for. You got people that pretend like it's dry roads, and it's not. So I'm looking forward to having tomorrow off because they canceled my work already for tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to sleeping in and enjoying the beautiful snow without being in the snow.
And more plow trucks here again. What we've been seeing all morning. If you can stay off, let them do the job, because once they plow, that snow piles on right on top of it. With the freezing temperatures, that's not helping. So you could play in it, but just please stay off the roads. Reporting live in Mahwah, New Jersey, Shantae Lands, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Again, that from Channel 7. So I spent a good part of the day going outside several times to shovel the snow. I know. You have to be careful. You can, have a heart attack and so on. So I'm aware of that, and it has happened to people in the past. And so I'm out there several times, right? And I did a great job because I guess I'm too cheap to hire somebody to do it, and I'm gonna buy a snow blower. But I figured I might be able to get past the season without having to do it, but it didn't occur that way. And so every time I went out there, I did a great job, and then an hour later, the snow was right back. And it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And then I couldn't find my gloves, and my hands were freezing. So what did I do, Tony? I came inside. I'm embarrassed to admit this. I couldn't find my gloves. I have like 15 pair of gloves. I don't know where they are.
It always
Family's
happens.
up in Rhode Island. I don't know where anything is. You know what I ended up doing?
What?
I put on a pair of socks, thick socks, because that's how cold my hands were.
Look, I understand, but you know what? Times like this, you can't be cheap. If someone's shoveling snow in your neighborhood, pay them, man.
Well, I didn't see them. I know a few years ago they wanted $80 to do my driveway. It's a round driveway, and I'm not paying $80. I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing it. You know, if the family wants to go to diner for breakfast, you spend $80. That's fine. I'm not spending $80 to plow the driveway. So, and my son is not here because normally I'd have been like, we're gonna get out here together. Let's go. You know,
spend some quality time.
So, yeah, some quality time.
Shoveling snow.
It's called You're the Son. Get the job done.
Okay, go ahead, Junior. Bye.
That's right. So Tony and I laughing right now, but and we're going to your telephone calls in just a second. We're going to start with Liz in Florida in just a moment. But if you are a New York City school student, public school student, you are not happy with the new mayor because you have a day of remote learning.
I can tell you, as a New Yorker who loved snow days growing up and would sit and watch local news at 5 a.m. to see if my school was mentioned on the ticker at the bottom, I know what this means for students. It's why I've invited them to pelt me in the face with a snowball. However, New York City also operates in accordance with state law, where we have to have 180 days of instruction. And given the additions of holidays over the past few administrations, it reduces the flexibility that we can.
So thank you very much, Mayor Do Nothing, for reminding us that you're 34 years old. You know, for a moment we had forgot. Governor Hochul had this to say.
Power goes out. Your house is freezing. You should gather everybody in the family in as small of an area as possible, preferably no windows, or protect your windows. Just stay together. Bring all the pets, everybody together for the time being, because the warmth of other human beings can literally help you warm up the other individuals. And so it's kind of a cozy setting, but if it gets that bad, you want to keep your family safe and alive.
Governor Hochul of New York, and of course, flights were canceled coast to coast across the country. This from CBS News.
Here's a look at New York City's LaGuardia Airport. You can see the snow coming down. It has been falling in a steady clip all day, and so far there have been more than 400 flights canceled there. In total, airlines have canceled more than 11,000 U.S. flights for Sunday, according to flight tracking site FlightAware. It's the most for a single day since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
So that from CBS News. Let's start with some of your telephone calls. You know, Mamdani went on ABC this weekend, and he did a rapid fire thing. We'll get to a little bit of what he had to say. You didn't miss much, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. And, of course, the shooting this weekend, Saturday morning in Minneapolis, more of a controversy. Let's get to some of your calls. We're going to go to, in a moment, Ted in Ottawa, Canada, but let's start with Liz in Florida. It's time to rub it in. Go ahead, Liz.
I'm sorry, but Dominic, you do sound wide awake tonight.
Oh.
I had to just put that in there.
Oh, okay. As compared to the other night.
Yeah. So you asked how we're coping. I'm coping just fine. The weather is stunning here, and I'm not trying to rub it in. Honestly, I think it's kind of nice, all that beautiful white snow, as long as you're indoor, and if you can put your fireplace on, if you have one, sit in front of it, read a good book. And if you're going to wear socks, Dominic, put them in the dryer first, so then they're nice and warm.
Now you tell me. Oh, that would have been a great idea. Now you tell me, Liz. And I didn't even think that far ahead. And as far as the fireplace, right? Without my son being here, who's going to go get the wood? I'm not going to get the wood. Who's going to do it, Liz?
Wood should have been already inside the house.
Right. Yeah, but he left the other day, and and then in order to get to the wood, you gotta clear an area of the snow, or you gotta walk in a foot of snow, and But now you tell me about I should have put the gloves in the dryer. That's a great idea. But now you tell me.
Well, listen, you should always warm up your clothes before, after you come out of the shower, you have warm clothing. I used to do that with my kids all the time, towels, clothing.
So wait a minute, wait, say that again. What should I do with my clothing? You mean like underwear and T-shirts and stuff like that?
Anything that you're going to wear after a shower, pajamas, warm them up, throw them in the dryer. They're nice and warm and toasty, and then you have, something warm to put on.
Now you tell me, Liz, you should have told me this.
Listen, it's never too late. It's not like tomorrow's not going to be warm. It's going to be cold. So you can still do it.
So, Liz, before I let you go, explain this to me. How can I have 40 pair of gloves, and without my family here, I can't find not a single pair? How is that?
Look under the bed. Look in the closet. I don't know. I can't help you, Dominic.
I looked in the coat closet. I looked in her coat closet. I looked in my coat closet.
Right, look in the pockets of your coats. Probably there.
Right,
Matt? What does Matt say?
That's too much, Liz. I was trying to watch a little bit of NFL football, but so you said it's beautiful in Florida where you are right now.
Yeah, I was by the pool today. I did some laps. I tanned, and I thought of all my friends, up north.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, because I was getting snow pictures from everybody. Yes.
Hey, Liz, I want you to stay with me for a second here. I need some help. Teddy and Yonkers, next hour, I'm going to read some of the emails. It's not going to make Teddy happy of what people had to say about him and Sherman the other day. But stay with me, Liz, and help me out here with Teddy on line 5. He wants to talk serious politics about what happened in Minneapolis, I believe. So, Teddy, you are on with Liz in Florida. And what's on your mind, Teddy?
Okay, I'm going to say something. I just can't take it anymore. Okay, it was murder. Liz, this was murder. You're talking about an ICU nurse, a reputable young man. He was a Boy Scout. He had a license to carry the gun. He wasn't taking it out. He wasn't reaching for the gun.
Teddy, I don't want you to have an aneurysm. Teddy, I don't want you to.
And they killed him.
Wait, Teddy. I'm going to say again, this is not Hollywood. Now, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead.
Dominic, you use that to me a lot of times,
Okay.
Dominic. That is your out.
Okay.
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, well, wait. Hold
It's
on,
murder.
Hold on, Teddy. Do you think it's what? Now, his father had already advised him to be smart attending one of these protests. And in his father's words, don't do anything stupid, right? He knew his son cared very much about the community and didn't like what was going on. Teddy, who in their right mind shows up with a gun, whether it's licensed or not? If you're not a federal officer, why would you show up to a protest with a gun?
He has a license.
He has a license. He has a license. But Teddy, here's my question, and this is under investigation, and I'm going to let Liz speak in a second. But Teddy, explain this to me, please. So he had a license, a concealed carry license, apparently. Do you think? Wait, hold on, Teddy. Do you think federal agents are going to say, "Excuse me, do you have a license to carry that?" Or do you think they may panic and act first and reason later? Which one you think may happen?
But you see, there's your thing. They panicked because they're not trained properly. They what are they?
Okay,
trained?
so Teddy.
For 45 days?
Okay, so Teddy. So me and you are partners. Liz, I'm bringing you in a second. Me and you are partners, and we're out there, and we see the gun, and I pause, and someone blows your brains out. I've got to go explain to your wife that I paused for a second and you're now dead. This is not Hollywood, Teddy. I'm sorry the young man is gone. He apparently was doing great things with his life as a nurse, emergency room, I think something like that, nurse. But Teddy, it's just not wise.
ICU nurse.
Okay, right, ICU. It's not wise, Teddy, to show up to a protest with a gun.
But Dominic, this is what you're doing is you're rationalizing all of these killings, Dominic. You're rationalizing with some type of explanation of them being shot and killed, Dominic.
No, what I'm saying to you is that if it were my son that was going to that protest, I would say absolutely not are you going to carry a gun with their federal agents there. They don't have time to pause and say, hey, is that gun legal? He doesn't plan on harming us. Unfortunately, they have to assume the worst, and they did.
Dominic, but they let me say this last thing. Liz is a fine woman. I like her. She's sincere. But I disagree with her and 90% of your callers. You know where I'm coming from, especially Sherman. Especially Sherman, who's an idiot. You hear me, Sherman? You're a blazing idiot, okay? No wonder you couldn't take geometry, because it requires thinking and rationalization and reasoning skills. And you don't have it, Sherman, okay? Dominic, you had 3 corporations today who said this has got to stop. Okay, what's going on in Minneapolis? This has got to stop. And Trump is even saying today.
What else do you think they're going to say? Isn't green the bottom line? What else do you think they're going to say? Hey, you know what, Liz? You work this out with Teddy. Let's see what you two have to say to each other.
All right.
Hi, Teddy. How are you?
Hi, Liz.
How you doing?
Liz. Okay, Liz.
Okay. It's heartbreaking, and it's. I hear your pain. I hear it's painful for everyone. Nobody wants anyone to die. Nobody wants to get hurt. And, my feeling is if the protesters just stop protesting, then nobody would be getting hurt. And it's not your normal protesting. That's the problem. And it's not like, there are those that are coming in and are just so angry. And he should not have even if he was able to carry a gun, you just don't bring a gun to a protest. And I don't know exactly because I wasn't there, you weren't there. But you've got the mayor and the governor of Minneapolis telling the citizens how bad ICE is. So they're just going to be even more upset. But no one should be, getting hurt. And I hear you, and it's very, very frightening, and it's hard to, it's hard to think about because
Liz,
nobody.
Let me just leave you with one thought. Liz, this is like a forest fire. It starts small with a little brush, okay? And then, Liz, before you know it, it spreads like wildfire.
Okay,
like
but
what
wait, but
happened in California.
Teddy, I noticed.
You know what it is? Wait,
Liz,
I
just one
say
second.
thing.
Wait, let me say this one thing. Teddy, you're blaming Trump. Does the governor of the state bear any responsibility? Does the mayor of Minneapolis bear any responsibility? That's what I believe Liz was just alluding to. They're the ones that keep lighting this fire, and there are no local police there to back ICE up. I noticed you conveniently left all of that out, Teddy.
But you conveniently left out the secretary of whatever her name is, the one who killed her own dog, said that they were domestic terrorists without even any investigation.
You show up to a gun at a protest, Teddy.
And they're not domestic terrorists.
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know?
But how do you know that they're not?
I can only go by the evidence that we have. It's not
What evidence do you have, Dominic? Why? Because he had a gun? And why? Because he had a gun?
Okay,
he wasn't using it, Dominic. They knocked him down.
So this is Hollywood. Oh, he doesn't plan on using the gun. We should just cuff him. It doesn't work like that, Teddy. Gun. People react. That's the way it goes down. Gun. He's got a gun. And adrenaline takes over. Training should take over, but sometimes it doesn't go the way it should go. And to Liz's point, if they weren't out there, and Liz, I want you to finish with Teddy before we wrap this up, and I want to get to Ted in Ottawa, Canada. If they weren't out there protesting, Teddy, would this have happened?
They're allowed to protest. It's a constitutional right.
Right, they are allowed to protest. Liz, help me out here.
Okay, Teddy, everyone can protest, but they're not just protesting calmly. The ICE knows that they're being targeted, and they have to be so careful. And these protesters are becoming violent, and that's the problem. If they would protest,
Liz, why are they wearing masks? Well, why are the ICE agents wearing masks, Liz? Why?
Well, I heard that because the protesters were coming after them, and I think that the governor and
I might be wrong, but and their children
and their families, they were said take pictures of them and go after their families, go after them. So that's why they're covering up their faces. They were told to do that.
And Teddy,
that's the only reason.
Look at what happened at the church. They thought that the pastor worked for ICE. They thought, and look what they did. Look what they did at the church. Right. And now they're facing federal charges. I didn't mean to cut you off, Liz. Go ahead.
No, I agree. Anyone can protest and tell people what they think, how they feel, and that's the American right. But when it becomes violent, that's not protesting anymore. And so ICE agents are afraid for their lives. And if somebody has a gun and they bring the gun out, or who knows what happened, I don't think ICE is out there just to start shooting everybody. It's not Iran.
Liz, let me ask you, then why don't police wear masks, Liz? They can have people threaten them and their families just like the ICE agents.
But they're not doing to them.
Police don't wear masks, Liz.
Right, but Teddy, the governor and the mayor are specifically saying, go after ICE. It's all of ICE. It's their fault, and they're the problems. And they're
all right. Well,
causing
okay, Liz,
the riot.
You're a fine woman. You would be great to have communication with. I would love to have you talk to you in the future. But
I'd love that
Liz,
too. I would really like that.
Liz, we disagree with this on this matter. Okay, to me, this was outright murder. This guy had no intentions. He was a fine, upstanding citizen.
How do you know what his intentions were?
Because Dominic, they knocked him down he went to help a woman who was being pushed down by ICE. Okay, that's why he went there to help.
Teddy, I don't mean to speak ill of the dead. I just want you to answer this. He had a license, but is it wise, especially considering the tension that's in the air with ICE? Was it wise to be at a protest with federal agents and a gun? Was that wise, Teddy?
Based on that, you probably are right. But that's still not a reason, because if he didn't have the gun, he went there to help the woman, and they still knocked him down. They didn't know that he had a gun when they knocked him down on the floor. Okay? That's my point.
Well, Teddy,
all right.
again,
you
Teddy,
gave me a lot of time, and I appreciate it. And Liz, you're a fine woman. I disagree with you, Liz, but you're still a fine woman. Good night.
Thank you, Teddy. Good night. Take some deep breaths, okay?
I don't mean to laugh.
No, he's very passionate. I mean, listen, he believes what he believes, and he just needs to take some deep breaths because it can overwhelm.
So, Liz, listen, I got to take a break, and I want to get to the call from Ottawa on the weather and so on, but I just answer this for me. I really want you to answer this. Mm-hmm. Why do people think this is Hollywood? Oh, I have a license to I don't mean to mock the dead. I have a license. His father told him specifically in advance, don't go do anything stupid. Why? What would make this young man, with all the tension that's out there, these are federal agents. They don't play. This has nothing to do with training. When you say gun, it's game on. Stop the threat, period. That's the only thing that exists.
No, I think he brought the gun for a reason, whether it was for self-defense or he thought, something might go wrong, which of course it did, but, not right. You just don't bring a gun to especially these kind of protests, and it's not a regular protest. And unfortunately, the governor and the mayor are just, causing terrorism, basically. They really are. They're inciting. It's just not okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
Liz, thank you very much for the call and helping me handle Teddy. It seems like you pacify him, so that's a wonderful thing. Thank you, Liz, for the wonderful call. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
Thank you, and don't the nice weather in Florida. It is what it is. So I've got to take a break. Dominic Carter here with you until 1 a.m. When we come back, we're going to Ted on line 4 in Ottawa, Canada. Ted wants to talk about the weather.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. I'm looking at my Twitter, at my X, at Dominic TV. And Tatiana Rose says here, and I haven't had a chance to take a look at this because I'm on the air. She says that protesters in Minneapolis are currently destroying the hotel where ICE agents are staying. So with that as a backdrop, let's assume that that's accurate. You don't think that these agents are going to be on edge? And I'm going to say again, this is not Hollywood. The feds don't play. You can't say, take 2. Do you have a permit for that gun? No, it doesn't work like that. Once one of those agents, when Amadou Diallo, and this was the NYPD, he's in the vestibule and he has his wallet, but it was mistaken as a gun. It was dark. The officers were ultimately cleared. Once one fired and the bullet ricocheted, it became gun. That's what happens. 41 shots were fired. The officers were firing and didn't know that they were the only ones firing. It's easy to say, oh, you should have pulled out your badge and said, get on the floor, young man. It doesn't work like that. Gun, and all hell breaks loose at that point. The feds don't play. Let me be very clear in saying this. If you're going to a protest that's a federal protest, do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do your family a favor. Don't take a gun, because the feds are not going to stop to go, excuse me, take 5. Do you have a permit for that weapon? It doesn't work like that. Gun, and it's on and popping with the feds, and it's that simple. And that's exactly what happened here. Is it sad? Yes. Is it tragic? Yes. Would it have happened if he didn't bring a gun? I don't think so. Ted in Ottawa, Canada, wants to talk about the weather. Ted, what's on your mind? Good evening.
Hi, Dominic. I called you last year about holding my mom's hand when she died. The drug addict, the clean drug addict. But the snow here is unbearable. It's always this way, though. Like all winter, we've had nothing but snow every day.
I watched. Hey, Ted, I watched.
Got 2 feet.
Wait, say that again. You said Toronto?
Toronto's got 2 feet, and it's
2
the
feet.
most since 1965.
Wow, 2 feet. I know Toronto's good at dealing with this, but how do they handle 2 feet of snow?
They got the plows, but they'll be busy.
For quite some time. So
Toronto's a big city. It's bigger than Chicago now.
Wow. So where you are right now in Ottawa, how much snow do you have?
We've had about 4.5 feet over the year.
Wow. But how about this recent storm?
Yesterday was minus 35. We didn't have any snow. Today we're getting snow, and it's about 10 inches.
Wait, you mean real field temperature minus 35, not the actual temperature, right? No, you can't have a minus 35, right? You mean real feel.
No, minus 35.
What does one do in that type of weather?
Well, you stay in. You don't go out. Well, it's cold. My cat went to the door, turned around, and came out right back in.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about a cat going outside in this weather, right?
The animals are smart.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, Ted, because when I was up in Canada speaking twice. Once Niagara Falls, right over the border. The other time in a suburb of Toronto. But I guess, it was the summertime, so, I didn't even consider weather. But I feel bad for you folks because I see on television, they have that show that we see a lot here in America that's about one of your highways. I think it's between Niagara Falls and Toronto. And you see the trucks you see the emergency vehicles. The show is all about the emergency vehicles and how fast they got to clear those trucks once they go down. Right, that's the 401, right?
Yeah, 401 runs from Windsor to Montreal.
Wait, it goes to Montreal as well?
Yeah, it goes right into Montreal from Windsor to Montreal.
Now, okay, before I let you go, wait. Now, is that near Detroit? Because I don't think most Americans will. Say that again?
Yeah, right across from Detroit.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I don't think most Americans realize how big Canada is. Literally, Victoria on the Seattle side, because I used to go to Victoria and I used to admire in the summertime how beautiful the flowers were. Is Victoria still considered a good city, or is that a city? Or I think it's a city, correct?
It's a city. It's about 300,000.
Okay, is it a good city, a clean city, or no?
Well, it used to be. A lot of drugs now.
Oh boy, so I wouldn't like it now.
Vancouver, same. It's the same everywhere, man. Fentanyl, gangs. This is North America. It's all the same.
Wow, and so
like your Democrats, they're crazy.
Right. Well, I agree with you, but from you can get to Canada from the Seattle side. I used to drive it sometimes. I think it would take like 2.5 hours. You can get to Canada
they're going to the Super Bowl.
Wait, who's going to the Super Bowl?
Seattle against.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're correct. Hey, Ted, go ahead. Yeah, you're correct. Seattle's going to the Super Bowl. Well, you know what? Oh boy, because to be honest with you, Ted, I have to sleep. So the late game, I don't get to see any of that because if I'm not asleep, I would be impossible for me to do the nighttime show. So Seattle won.
Yeah, they did.
And do you know what the score was?
Best game I've ever seen.
You said it was the best game
I've ever seen.
What was the score?
Best game of all time, maybe.
What was the score? Do you know?
34-28.
Wow. So that's a close one.
Right down in a minute.
Wow.
Well, the
Ted,
Patriots won 10-3.
I saw the Patriots game. I saw that one. And Denver should have won that one, but I think they missed 2 or 3 field goals. And then the weather didn't cooperate.
Well, there was 6 field goals missed.
Wow, because of the weather.
You couldn't kick in that.
Ted, thank you for the wonderful call. Greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And so again, folks, you can get to Canada, right? I don't think most Americans realize this. From the Seattle side, you can go to Detroit and go right across the bridge. I think that's Windsor. Or, a lot of New Yorkers don't realize how close Montreal is. It's only a 5.5 hour drive from New York City. I've never been to Montreal, and you're in Montreal, Canada. where I've been to Canada on our side is up near the Buffalo area, in which in the summertime it's absolutely stunning. Just to go there, there's a state park, and just listen to Niagara Falls. That alone is one of the most beautiful things, in my opinion, that you can ever do. And then you watch the people, they put on the ponchos while they're on the boat, and the mist from the water. It's absolutely beautiful. And then you go across, and then there's Niagara Falls, Canada, and of course they're booming. Things have changed now, because now on the New York side they have casinos, but back then there were only casinos on the Niagara Falls, Canada side. And so I would go over sometimes when on political assignment up in Buffalo, and I would also drive sometimes from Niagara Falls, Canada to Toronto, which is about an hour 10 ride. That's the 401, as Ted just mentioned. But if the weather is bad, not a good ride at all. Let's continue with your telephone calls, and I'm going to be dealing with this next hour as well, the conversation they had together on Friday morning. Let's go to Sherman on line 4. Sherman, what's on your mind?
A few things. This is, Teddy, in just my opinion, I love your show. I respect your show. Teddy's 15 minutes should be almost up. This man is literally foaming at the mouth on the phone. You can hear the viciousness, the venom in his voice. Teddy is like most of these protesters, sanctimonious, narcissistic, violent, okay? His rhetoric and communication style is violent, okay? He is part of the problem, because if you disagree with a narcissistic, sanctimonious, sociopathic person, then you get on that list. And see, I'm not going to talk to Teddy like I'm his mommy, like this wonderful lady that just was on the phone with him from Florida. I'm not going to talk to Teddy like I'm his daddy. I'm going to talk to Teddy like a grown man. I'm a grown man, and I always have my grown man pants on. And I don't do small talk so good, but I do big talk very well. Okay? And I'm saying to you, he is part of the problem. And I'm so tired of these phony people like him and our ex-president, Joseph Biden. What's the matter, Teddy? You don't want to say your name is Theodore because you got a guilt complex about some money in your family, so you want to call yourself Teddy for the rest of your life, even though you're probably in your 70s or 80s? He's a grown man. So I'm suspicious of people that always want to change their name. If your name is Robert, why call yourself Bobby if your birth certificate says Robert? If your name is Theodore, why call yourself Teddy? You don't want to sound like you come from money? See, this is the problem with a lot of Americans in the culture. They feel guilty about the past. They don't want anybody to think that they support racism or that they, support slavery before their parents had, great-grandparents had. So they want to go through all. This is what these white liberals are doing. And they're destroying the country because they go out of their way to show you and think that they're not racist, including supporting illegal majority of South American violent criminal immigrants in the country. This kid, he's a kid in my opinion, this nurse who's dead is dead because he created his own death. Why do you go, again, I don't do the small talk so good, but I give you the big talk like it is. Why go to a protest with a pistol on you? Why go to a protest? I know I have something to say or ask you. Why go to a protest with a pistol on you? Okay? So this man is dead, and he's just like this violent, aggressive lesbian woman because he's involved in stuff that he should have nothing to do with. If ICE is handling a female or woman, let them handle the female or the woman. Mind your business. Okay? Nobody told him to get dressed, put a armed, loaded, emphasis now, a loaded pistol on your hip and go outside and go to a protest where things are violent and fluid. If it was up to me, the National Guard and a full-on army would be in there already. I am so tired of these mostly white liberals and black liberals too. They're destroying our beautiful country. And Teddy always wants to split hairs with you and try to blame everything on Trump. Teddy is, in my opinion, with all due respect, he's mentally ill. I don't care if he has a big Victorian home that he lived in and his parents left him. Okay, excuse me, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Theodore, I understand the mentality of these people. They feel so guilty about the past, and they've been put in a corner and brainwashed, and so they go out of their way to prove that they're not racist by destroying our country and supporting these illegal, violent, rapist. If it was up to me, if I was Trump, I would force everyone to watch them being executed in Yankee Stadium. I would force everybody to watch them, these rapists and these child murderers that are in the country illegally. If I was president, I would force the country, every phone and computer and TV would be forced to watch them be shot in front of a firing squad in Madison Square Garden. That's how you get some respect. That's how you get people to be afraid to do wrong. Because if you got all these phony, fake, punk cowards like Teddy won't bust a grape at a fruit fight. Okay? I know these kind of people. They talk big and tough on the phone. But Teddy would never put himself out there and help the country. Teddy would never, if we were invaded when the Civil War really starts, Teddy's going to be in his house. Okay? And he's not going to be on the right side if he does get involved. These are double agents.
I hear you, Sherman. I hear you, and I hear your passion. I do got to take a break. I thank you for the call. So we heard from Teddy. We heard from Sherman. I'm going to deal with these two, the conversation they had. The conversation they had on Friday. Thank you again, Sherman. We see all your calls, folks. Please stand by. Time for a break. We're coming right back and going right back to your telephone calls.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, let's be clear here, okay? You know it's cold outside when you go outside and it's cold, okay? You can clap for that, you can.
You know, folks, with all of this snow, you got to have a laugh. You got to have a little bit of fun. Oh, it's a lot of snow. Let's go to line 3, Gracie in Rockland County. Gracie, what's on your mind?
What's on? Was that Kamala laughing or somebody else?
It's an impersonator.
Oh, okay. But it sounded very well. Okay, you know, Teddy did clear something up for me. I wondered how this nurse got involved. Teddy said that he put himself in a position. Where do you interfere with policemen, ICE, whatever authority arresting someone?
You don't.
He deserved to be shot. I am sorry. I am in the Sherman court. Okay? We need more. I really mean it. Last night they closed off a street. By 10 o'clock in Minneapolis, they closed off another street. And guys had a vest on, yellow vests, as if they were people in authority. This is ridiculous. The authority has to go in and take care of them. We cannot have another nonsense with that summer of love in Seattle.
Well,
I know the president, it's politics and this and that. That's all he needs if he doesn't get if the House loses, he loses the House, they'll start impeachment. But we can't go on like this in our country. I can't believe this is America anymore. You know, I'm 78. I've been around. I've seen a lot. I'm not a baby. I'm not 30 like Mandami that doesn't know what's going on. I've seen things. And our country is going... Bob Grant used to say not that I was crazy about him, but going to hell in a handbasket. We are there already, and we really have to take the bull by the horns. And if people die, I'm sorry, that's the way it is. Maybe then these protesters who are getting afraid, who are getting paid, will say, hey, they're not paying me enough to take a chance that I'm going to be killed. Whoever heard of closing streets? That's what I have to say, Dominic.
Gracie, thank you for the call. I can only tell you, folks, whether it's the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, Homeland Security, Border Patrol, feds don't play that. I'm sorry the young man lost his life, but again, this is not Hollywood. They don't have the opportunity to go, oh, Do you have a permit for that gun in all this chaos? In all of this situation where the governor and the mayor have turned you residents against us, do you have a permit? Okay, no. That wasn't a good way. Take 5. Sir, do you have a permit? No. Take 7. Sir, no, it doesn't work like that. Take 8. Take 8. The person possibly pulls out the gun and shoots one of those agents. The feds don't play that, folks. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. Francine, line 4, believing the opposite, almost the opposite of what Gracie just expressed. Francine, what's on your mind?
I happen to agree with some of what Teddy has to say. I think he's entitled to his opinion. And this is how I feel. And what I heard this morning, it sounded like he may not have had a gun. He may have had a cell phone. But in any case, I'm starting to agree with, starting to feel what Teddy had to say is more legitimate to me.
Okay, so wait, Francine. So you think, so whether it's a gun or cell phone, there is some question.
Yes,
you think it's wise to show up with this climate to show up with a weapon in your waistband or wherever the weapon may have been?
It's not wise. It is not wise. But the point was made on TV that it may not have been a gun. It may have been a cell phone, and that he was shot unnecessarily. Now, I don't know if it's true, but I think Teddy has some points that need to be validated. And that's
all right.
how I feel.
Okay. So, but wait, Francine, maybe you can help me.
And his name calling has really got to stop. It's really terrible back and forth.
Okay. Well, here's what I want you to help me with. The left. I don't understand. I really feel that the left is driving this country off the cliff with the craziness. Help me understand this.
Well, there is some validity of people protesting against what's going on with the ICE. They have a right to make these arrests of people who don't belong in this country legally, and if they commit crimes, they should be arrested. But this last case, I don't know. I'm starting to think about it. I need to investigate it more, but I think Teddy had some valid points, and I'm agreeing with what he has.
All right, well, fair enough, Francine. Thank you for the call. President Trump has said he's reviewing everything about this case. He made this comment in a phone interview with the Wall Street Journal tonight, and President Trump says that this is about Alex Preddy, the ICU nurse, that Border Patrol agents that shot him in the street, that they're not gonna, the federal agents will leave at some point. He didn't say when, but he says they will leave at some point. Let me go. I see all you folks want to talk, but I'm going to have to push you into next hour because I don't want to, I don't have time to deal with the issues you're raising. But let me go to Philip on line 1 in Wisconsin. Philip, I'm short on time. What's your point?
Hey, thank you, Dominic. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Philip, I'm short on time. What is your point?
Do you think if Hillary Clinton would have won in 2016, we would have had COVID?
All right, explain to me. I don't even understand what you're really trying to say. So help me do it quickly because the show is ending in 40 seconds.
If you'd shut up and talk.
Okay, you're done. Cut him off. You're done. Don't ever call again. All right? How about that, Philip? And put the booze down because you sound like you're pissy drunk. Okay? I was trying to be nice to you, but I'm not going to be nice now since you want to be an absolute idiot asking me some dumb. I wish you got your beep ready. Can I say what I want to say? Were you ready to beat me?
Yeah, you're better than that. Don't do that, man. You're good. You're better than that.
Philip, you can go drink some water in the river on this cold, cold night. How about that, Philip, in Wisconsin? Shut up for a minute. No, you shut up. Hour number 2 is coming up. Dominic Carter here with you. We folks are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And the two big stories, the storm sweeping most of the country, impacting millions, and the weekend fatal shooting in Minneapolis. Dominic Carter here with you. The number to reach us live, 800-848-9222. Sometimes, Democrats, elected Democrats, can say something smart, can say something that is in the best interests of the public, their constituents. But these days, when it comes to Democrat elected officials, often what we hear is a whole lot of pandering. Case in point, New York Governor Kathy Hochul. You're going to hear her on the storm in just a minute. But first, the governor, yet again, criticizing ICE.
Protecting New Yorkers also means this: standing up to ICE agents who abuse their power. I'll do whatever it takes to protect New Yorkers from criminals any day of the week. I always have, always will. But people of all political beliefs are saying the same thing. What we've seen lately has gone too far, and enough is enough. So, New York will not allow the use of state resources to assist in federal immigration raids on people who have not committed serious crimes. Not doing it.
Red meat for the base in an election year. But that's not all. That's not all. Sometimes Democrat elected officials can say smart things. And then they can say things that are very stupid sometimes. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, Democrat governor, is calling for Secretary Kristi Noem to either resign as Secretary of Homeland Security or for President Trump, in her words, to do the right thing and just fire her.
Kristi Noem has forfeited her right to lead, and I'm calling on her to resign as Secretary of Homeland Security, or Donald Trump to do the right thing and just fire her. And if not, she must be removed or impeached. And Gregory Bovino, who has helped lead and defend and escalate these operations, should also be fired. It's a shame I have to say this in America, but no one is above the law. No one.
The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, I want you to listen to. So those are the dumb things. I want you to listen to. She's doing the responsible thing now as the governor with the snowstorm. We're not going to listen to her entire comment. You're going to hear part of it because we see all of your calls that are coming in, and we want to get to them. But so you heard the pandering red meat Kathy Hochul in an election year. This is the other Kathy Hochul doing the right thing in a snowstorm.
Here's a look at New York City's LaGuardia Airport. You can see the snow coming down. It has.
Okay, that's not the correct soundbite there. So what we'll do is I'll go to some of your telephone calls. But Governor Hochul basically said that was urging people to stay inside, and was talking about what the state is trying to do to make sure that people are safe in what is a very dangerous situation. I meant to say there. So let's see here. Let's go to Judith in Brooklyn, line 5. Judith, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. I was listening to Liz and Teddy back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I said, what is the problem over here? It's a no-brainer, okay? If this guy, Alex, came with a loaded 9mm gun, okay, the responsibility lies with him, with Alex, okay? He brought a gun. Where in the world do you bring a gun and think that nothing's going to happen? He was looking for trouble, and unfortunately, trouble found him. It's like as though he had a death wish. What in the world? How stupid can you be? Do you know, if someone has a hammer, that is considered a lethal weapon, enough for them to be able to shoot and kill if they don't drop the hammer. And I think I saw a video, one video only, and I saw where I think that he was on the ground. He was fighting with them. I think he did not want to give up his gun, and something must have happened, and I don't know, and then he was shot dead. But you know something? Again, stupid is stupid. Give up the gun. Why even come with the gun? What, are you crazy? I mean, it's no brainer.
Well, Jude, if it went down the way you just said, I mean, and again, I'm sorry that this young man is in the morgue right now. You don't do that with federal agents. And you know what, Judith? Governor Walz, Governor Dum Dum, and Mayor Fry, they have blood on their hands, because if the local police were there, the public would not even be able to get close to the ICE agents. They have no backup. And listen, you can listen to Walz and Fry all you want to. They're not out on the protest line with you, okay?
Right.
You think, wait, let me just finish, Judith. You think that you're going to be emboldened and empowered with federal agents? You're going to lose each and every time. Go ahead, Judith.
You know something? It's not they want to win. It's not they want to be a bunch of bullies. They're there to do a job. They're there to try to get like rapists and pedophiles and murderers and whatever and criminals out. Okay, and they're being met with ridiculous people that for some odd reason want to protect the criminals. They're just trying to do a law-abiding job. Okay, get out of their way. Let them do their job, and everything will be fine. But they don't want to, because these people they'd much rather protect the criminals. But I also want to say, I'm not impressed with Alex being an ICU nurse, because you know what? Dominic, did you remember a few days ago you had a different IC nurse, and she was cursing out Caroline Levitt, and she was wishing her to have the worst birth, and that was a nurse as well, okay? So now I'm starting to think it's outrageous if you heard how this nurse spoke, the other one, and she lost a job, thank goodness. Can you imagine? So, like, I don't know what to tell you.
I think it's noble. Thank you for the call, Judith. I do have to move on. I think it's noble that someone works as an ICU nurse. I'm not going to take that away from him. The young man made a bad mistake. He went for the okie doke. He listened to Walz and Fry, and he said, I have a First Amendment right to be here. I have a permit to carry my gun. Federal agents don't play that. Once one of them yells gun, it's game on. And it's not going to stop until the threat is neutralized. This is not Beretta on TV. This is not Kojak. This is not none of these TV shows. This is real world situation. They want to go home to their families, and they're going home to their families. So if it comes down to you or them, guess who's going to lose each and every time? Maria in Brooklyn, line 2. What's on your mind, Maria?
Dominic, do you see where this is really going? Do you analyze the whole situation? When these people go out on the street, these so-called humanistic, for the humanity of the undocumented, that when they go out with these signs that say ICE out of Minnesota, out of Minneapolis, they're basically saying they want to get rid of a federal agency, law enforcement. So if they get away with this, imagine what's coming next. That man, how does an ICU nurse perish? Because you've seen the video where he's giving, I don't know, a prayer or to somebody. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but how does he have enough time to be an ICU nurse and at the same time have enough time to go protest? And the woman with the backpack basically what's happening is these so-called peaceful protesters are going basically near to the face of the ICE Border Patrol people, and they're goading them. And if you notice at the video, that man had his hand in his pocket at the beginning of the video. And then what unraveled is, we all know, unfortunately, what happened to him. I mean, you go out looking for danger and you're going to find it. This is happening because, again, they're goading the law enforcement guys up there, and the guys are going to take care of themselves. They're going to defend themselves. He had a gun. Eventually, they found the gun, and this is what happened. But this is basically, it's coming down to the plan is to get rid of immigration, and then it's a free for everything else. What's going to be next? conservatives, get rid of Republicans, get rid of church-going people. I mean, this is crazy. And Sherman did say one thing that is correct. I only see white folks in these marches. I mean, what is it? The guilt about helping the undocumented? I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. Why don't we just say we don't have no more borders? Just open the borders for everyone.
Well,
Why
that's
doesn't
what they
the Democratic
want.
Party say that?
Maria, thank you for the wonderful call. That's what they want. That's where this is all leading to. No ICE, open the border. And who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for it? I don't think Maria wants to pay for it. I'm not paying for it. Let's go to Norman in Brooklyn, line 3. Norman, what's on your mind?
Yeah, hi, Dominic. Okay, this guy was a terrorist. Okay, and terrorists shouldn't.
Wait. Why are you calling him a terrorist? Why are you calling him a terrorist?
He's carrying a gun.
No, that doesn't make you a terrorist. Wait. If you have wait, Norman. If you have a legal permit to carry a gun, how does that make you a terrorist?
Okay, it doesn't make a difference whether he had a look. Listen, when I went to protests. Okay, I have ordinarily on my little keychain, I have a little Swiss Army knife. Okay, when I went to protests, I took that damn thing off and I kept it in the house. These guys bringing a deadly weapon. It's a deadly weapon. It's not a dangerous weapon.
Right, but that doesn't make you a terrorist. It just makes you stupid
or something like that. Guys bringing a deadly weapon.
Norman, that doesn't make you a terrorist. That doesn't make you a terrorist. That makes you stupid.
You bring a gun to oppose federal forces, okay, what the hell are you? Okay, I mean, listen, they gave him far too much time. They should have, on the side of the gun, they should have shot him right away, okay? And I am a protester. I have done this for, forget it, more than 10 years, okay? This guy is a terrorist. They're telling him to. The left is telling them to do this sort of stuff. Okay, he's a casualty of leftist policies. Okay, he's a friggin' terrorist. Okay, and the cops by shooting him. If this was in Israel, do you think if some I don't know, some dude was protesting and had a gun on his hip, do you think the IDF?
No, Norman, I got to take a break. Thank you for the call. No, it would have been a done deal. Plain and simple. You're correct about that, Norman. Time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And as we deal with dangerously low temperatures, there are some things you should do to take out of your car. Make sure you don't leave with a mess or something worse. So during sub-zero weather, you should make sure you don't have any aerosol cans inside because those could become unstable and potentially break or explode. Bring any canned drinks and food in as well, in addition to eggs. Electronics should also stay away from the cold. Those low temps could impact how they function. And all medications should be in with you. They should not be frozen.
So that's our other big story. The weather, all of this snow. If you're like me and you live outside of New York City, how am I going to get rid of all that snow? I'm not hiring someone to do it. Generally speaking, I wait for it to melt. I don't think that's going to work this time. But as to the shooting, we see all your calls. The weekend shooting, another federal agent, this happened Saturday morning to an ICU nurse. Apparently he had a gun. Some say he had a cell phone. Some say it's confirmed he had a gun. This is what the Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino had to say.
As DHS law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted operation in Minneapolis against an illegal alien, Jose Huerta Chuma. You can see this illegal alien on the screen to my left and right. That is Jose Huerta Chuma, whose criminal history includes domestic assault to intentionally inflict bodily harm, disorderly conduct, and driving without a valid license. During this operation, an individual approached U.S. Border Patrol agents with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The agents attempted to disarm the individual, but he violently resisted. Fearing for his life and the lives and safety of fellow officers, a Border Patrol agent fired defensive shots. Medics on the scene immediately delivered medical aid to the subject, but the subject was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 loaded magazines and no accessible ID. This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement. Then, about 200 rioters arrived at the scene and began to obstruct and assault law enforcement. Crowd control measures have been deployed for the safety of the public and law enforcement. This situation is evolving, and more information is forthcoming.
And so there you have it. Apparently, this man had 2 loaded magazines and no identification. I'm not saying it's justification for him to be shot dead, but that should tell you something about his motive. He did not want authorities to be able to identify him. Let's go back to your telephone calls. Bob in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., line 4. Bob, what's on your mind?
Good evening, Dominic. You're having a great show this evening. I'd like to make a couple points briefly.
Wait, Bob. Yes, I'm a minute away from the next break, so go ahead.
Okay. First of all, a big part of this problem that we're having is that we're calling criminals protesters. We need to stop calling criminals protesters. Tearing up a hotel is not an act of protest. It makes you a criminal. Intentionally interfering in a law enforcement operation is a criminal act. It's not protest.
Correct.
We're giving them legitimacy by calling them protesters. And the second thing I'll say real quickly is that Sherman is completely correct. We need to bring back public punishment in order to reinstill social norms. We're going off the deep end of chaos.
I hear you, Bob. Not a bad idea what Sherman said, what you said, but the Democrats are fighting mad now. Imagine if you wanted public executions. Oh, it would be the end of the world. Time for a break, folks. We're coming right back with more of your telephone calls.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
I will not vote for another dollar to Homeland Security, another dollar to ICE. This is outrageous. This is a reckless organization that's out of control and must be stopped.
And that is Democrat Senator Cory Booker posturing. As always, has this man ever done anything besides hook up with Oprah and Gayle? And he did these stunts. Oh, I'm going to move into the projects as the mayor of Newark. I'm going to be with the people. Newark is as screwed up as ever. Cory Booker, what did you do for Newark? I know you had Gayle and you had Oprah. What'd you do for Newark? Nada. But you won't vote for another dollar. Oh, the posturing that goes on. You know, in a second, we're going to go back to your telephone calls, and I want you to hear what FBI Director Kash Patel had to say. I'm looking at my Twitter at my ex, Dominic Carter, with you folks. So let's see here. Someone just sent me a picture of a snowblower saying much more fun than shoveling, right? Now, that may be true, but here is wherein lies the problem. So in my garage at home, I have 3 brand new lawnmowers. Why do I have 3? Because I'm not a technical guy, and I have 0 patience. If I go to start the thing and it doesn't start, I'm ready to throw it out. But then you got to take it to the shop. Oh, it's $100 just to look at it, plus the repairs, blah, 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 blah. You got to get it to the people. It's got to be repaired. And so I want to get a snowblower, but the problem is I'm not a technical guy. I'm always working. What happens when I go to start this thing and, it's not working when I need it to work? What do I do then? Or maybe you folks can help me and tell me about a snowblower that always works. It's very easy. I'm not good on the maintenance of these things. It's very easy. You just pull it and it starts. You tell me that one and it's not too expensive, game on. I'll do it. So, Juliana, down under. Thank you, Juliana. Juliana says, winter storm parts in America, but a heat wave. I've never been to Melbourne. I've never been to Australia. I'm not feeling those large crocodiles in Australia. But I don't laugh, Tony. But I may go, but I ain't going near the water. I'm not going in the pool. I'm not going in nothing because of those crocodiles.
I understand.
Have you seen those crocodiles?
Yeah, look here. I'm not down with Wally Gator. I'm not trying to be like Crocodile Dundee. I'm not Tarzan. I am not.
No. He was touched. I mean,
but I'm not doing that. Okay.
He jump in the water with the alligators and thinking they're his friends. But wait, have you seen those crocodiles?
Yes, I've watched National Geographic. I've seen those.
The ones in Australia.
Yes,
they're bigger than you and I.
Yes,
together.
yes, man. No way.
And they mean.
Yeah, man.
They ain't playing.
Can you just imagine just getting hit by their tail? It's going to send us feet away, man. It's just, it's not. We're just not going to get knocked down.
And after they knock you out, we're hitting you with the tail. What do you think is next?
Dinner time.
then it's dinner time. So, Juliana, I plan on coming there, and so we're buried in snow. And in Melbourne. Oh, and by the way, Tony, she says hello to you. She says she hope you're doing well, mate. That's what she says, Juliana.
Thank you very much, Juliana.
And so she says, keep yourself nice and warm. It's literally going to be a scorcher in Australia, Melbourne today. We have a foot more plus snow. But anyway, so I can get back to your telephone calls. This is FBI Director Kash Patel.
Of Border Patrol. What can you tell us?
Great to be with you, Maria. And look, Secretary Noem stated it perfectly. You do not get to attack law enforcement officials in this country without any repercussions. You do not get to do that in Minnesota, L.A., or anywhere else. And the interagency is leading the charge out there. We've already arrested with the interagency those that violated the FACE Act and impeded a peaceful prayer in church. We've already just last night arrested 4 more individuals involved in the damage of government property that we saw the videos of online. We've arrested other individuals who've made threats to law enforcement online. So we are not messing around. It doesn't have to be in person. If you threaten law enforcement officials or civilians, we are going to come find you. And as for this latest shooting, yes, DHS and HSI are the lead, and the FBI is processing the physical evidence. So we're in possession of the firearm, which is going to go to our laboratory. But as Secretary Noem said, no one who wants to be peaceful shows up at a protest with a firearm that is loaded with 2 full magazines. That is not a peaceful protest, and you do not get to touch law enforcement. You do that anywhere, this FBI is going to be leading the charge to arrest those.
But how was he threatening Border Patrol? You've collected the evidence, you said, right? You have the handgun in your possession?
That's right.
And how was he using that handgun in terms of threatening Border Patrol? What was the threat? He had his camera, right? He was filming it.
That's something that I will let the DHS and the prosecutors, because they are the ones investigating that case. I don't want to stylize that evidence, but I trust the men and women on the ground who are trained professionals to only use it when it's absolutely necessary. And I trust Secretary Noem's leadership and DHS and HSI to do the right thing, as they've always done in these scenarios.
So, folks, the bottom line there, stop believing the hype. You can show up to a protest. Walls and Mayor Fry, they're telling you this nonsense, but they're not out there with you protesting. They're not jumping up in the faces of federal agents. There's no other way to say this, folks. The feds don't play that. You jump up in their face and you happen to have a gun in your waistband, you might as well say it's suicide by cop. Because it's not going to end well for you. They're not going to say, oh, take 5. Do you really mean to use that gun? Take 6. Sir, is that gun loaded? Take 7. Sir, give me the gun. No, the feds, they don't operate like that. Gun, game on. That simple. And they don't stop until the threat is nullified. It really is that simple. So I'm going to get to another element in this story, Don Lemon, in a few minutes, but we see all your telephone calls, so I want to get to some of your calls. Let's go to Rob on line 2, Long Island. Rob, what's on your mind?
Well, number one, you show up there with a gun, that's threat enough. But I think we're having the wrong conversation because this should be an administrative function where ICE picks these people up at the detention center. Now, the Democrats are creating this situation by releasing these people into the streets, which requires ICE to go into the streets, which gives now the rioters a venue.
That's for part of it, Rob. You're making an assumption. That's for part of it. I want you to finish. That's for the ones that have already been in custody. What about the ones that haven't been arrested? You can't, and some have serious criminal records from other countries.
Okay, well, in that case, then they have to be in the streets. But I don't know if a lot of these instances, especially the shootings, are instances where the people were released into the streets. Do you know? I don't know.
No. Well, I can only tell you, and I want you to make your point. I can only tell you that, for example, this ICU nurse, he would not have been in prison. But I say what you're saying is they wouldn't need to be there in the first place, correct?
Correct, because it would be an administrative transfer of custody from the detention center to the ICE fellows. They go and pick them up. Now, this happens in other states. It only happens if the detention center releases them into the streets, where ICE has to go then find them in the streets. Now, I don't know if any of these people that got shot were in the situation where ICE was forced into the streets because the guy was never picked up and was never in detention, or whether he was in detention and released. And if that's the case, if a lot of this is happening because Waltz and Fry, Deep Fry, is releasing these people to create opportunities for the riots, those are the people that got blood on their hands, and those are the people we should be going after. And we're not talking about this. We're talking about what's happening at ground zero, and I understand that. But what is the driver for this? And if it's because these guys are being released into the streets from detention, that's what's got to be highlighted here. Because otherwise we're buying into what the Democrats want us to do, which is to be their mouthpiece. Oh, well, they're not, ICE isn't protecting the public. They're not there to protect the public. They're there to pick up the criminals and bring them to arrest them.
You're correct.
So,
but you can't tell these idiots anything. You're correct. You're correct on that point, Rob. Thank you so much for the one. Go ahead.
The messaging should be, both from the White House, administration, media, anybody, the messaging should be that ICE is not there to protect anybody. ICE is there to pick up somebody, and other states do this. It's only in sanctuary cities where they decide to release them into the streets where they have this. And lastly, why is this all happening in Minnesota and not in other states? There's other sanctuary states, and they're having problems. But all of this craziness is happening in Minnesota. Oh, that's right. There's an active fraud investigation going on. Diversion.
You're correct. You're so correct on that, Rob. Thank you for the great call. Line 4, Pamela, New Jersey. Pamela, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Rob, right on. These so-called protesters, they're snot-nosed, pampered liberals who are using a revolutionary front as if they're honorable to really cover up how they've lived their lives. Many of them were probably raised by au pairs, that's governesses, paid under the table, who were illegal aliens who were not paid enough. All of these people probably had landscapers, maids, all kinds of things, and we have rocked their world. We're ending all that. There are mansions in Chappaqua and everything, and they can't live the lifestyle that they live. How do you think they're having all this time to protest? Because mommy and daddy were not present and didn't raise them with any kind of moral factors. And they were raised by illegal aliens where mommy and daddy didn't pay them any kind of wages because they used them as slave labor.
Well, Pamela, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. And I think in some of these cases, you're correct.
Yeah. And I think some of these killings, I think this is suicide by cop.
Well,
I think these people are depressed and they figure, I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory.
Right, and I'll be a hero. Well, thank you for the call, Pamela. I'll say again, if you think you're going to go near a federal agent and you have a gun, you might as well say it's suicide by cop because it's a wrap, folks. Let's go to Lauren, line 2, also in New Jersey. Lauren, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic. So I've evaluated your requirements and needs regarding your snow clearing situation.
Yes. You have an answer?
Okay, so my recommendation would be a brand called Hire, as in you need to hire a service to take care of it for you. Because
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Well, then you're going to have the stress of, maintaining
and worry about having a heart attack.
It. Oh, yeah, well, that's a whole other thing because if you're not in good physical shape and then you go out and especially in these frigid temps, I mean, this is just brutal weather. But just overall, I mean, then you have the peace of mind that okay, it's going to be taken care of. I have more space in my garage. I can get rid of that stuff. It's just a suggestion,
Lauren, you want me to pay in the summertime for the guy to cut the grass. You want me to pay in the wintertime for the guy to remove the snow. Then you want me to pay for the landscaping, right? I mean, hey, Lauren, I know you're going to say you should have thought about these things when you bought a house, but Lauren, I'm not hiring somebody to remove the snow. I'm not doing it. Lauren's gone. Well, Lauren, that was a great call. What did she say? It's called hire.
Hire someone to do it.
No. These kids start out at $60. The kids don't even walk the neighborhood anymore. And say, sir, they used to walk the neighborhood. Tony said, sir, you give them $20. Kid, do the whole lot. Yeah. $20. Do the whole lot. You and your buddy, get your buddy $20 here. Now they want $60. And don't call a landscaper. Sir, circular driveway. We've got to charge you an extra $30. What? I'll do it myself. And then Tony, I wanted to get my son back from Rhode Island to make him get out there. I literally put on. I got 40 pair of gloves. They did this intentionally. I couldn't find what they think is funny. My family think it's funny. I couldn't find one pair. I went outside like 5 different times at home, right? And I went outside the first time with no gloves on, and I thought my fingers were going to fall off.
That was dumb on your part, right there.
That was dumb on my part.
You should know better than that.
And then after that, I can't go back out there like this because the more I kept shoveling, the more the snow kept coming. Right?
Yeah.
And so I went back out, and I all I could think of was socks, and I put on socks. And so, but I'm not paying, Tony. I'm not doing it.
I understand, but. Now, here's the question. I know you want your son back from Rhode Island to help. Right. Now, does he mind doing that? Does he give you hell?
No, he does. He complains a little bit. And I say, listen. You'll do this when you have your son. It's part of being a father.
Okay.
Deal with it. But he's stuck in Rhode Island in the snow. So
it's a no-win situation for Dominic and Dominic's son.
Right? It is what it is.
Exactly.
On that note, we're going to take a break. We see all of your telephone calls. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And back to the phones we go. Line 5, Sandra in New Jersey. Sandra, what's on your mind this morning?
Good morning, Dominic. I was thinking today, I had this very simple, common sense thought regarding the ICE agent who shot the nurse. Look what they went through, the ICE people. Look at all the hate they were getting, all the flack, and look at all the riots, and look at all that happened. Do you think he would shoot someone again if he didn't feel his life was in imminent danger? I thought about it. It's common sense. He had to do it. No one would want to do what happened to Renee Good again after look what's happening all over the country over that. So you think he would want to add to that and make it worse? No. He had to do it because he felt his life was in danger. And I really felt that today. And it was a simple thought. It made common sense. And I just wanted to share that, Dominic.
So how do we fix this problem, Sandra? How do we?
I don't know.
I mean, I know the answer, but I want to know what you think.
how do we fix the problem? Someone said, but it wasn't the right thought. Well, someone said, well, maybe I thought he said, this person called on the radio and said, maybe we all should stop with the ICE people and let the people get what they deserve. But I think maybe it was you that said, no, we can't do that because then we're giving in to what they want. So that's not the answer. I don't know, Dominic. I just pray that this all stops. And, you know, I said it, you know, my sister had a driver. He comes from another country, and the ICE agents knocked on his door. And they were so respectful, so nice, and they were looking for someone. And he said, well, I don't know who that person is. And they said, okay, thank you very much. And they were both respectful, both sides. That's how it has to be. And they left, and that was that. I feel that I don't know, Dominic.
Well, the only thing I can tell you is that if you, me, your husband, anybody, you show up to a federal protest with their federal agents, and they see a gun, it's a game changer.
That's right.
They don't play that, you know, and I keep saying this, they don't play that Hollywood Take 5. They see a gun, no. It's game over. It's game over.
Right. Absolutely. So look, I hope this all stops. Do you think it will, Dominic?
The honest answer is, as long as President Trump is in office, it won't stop because they hate him that much. And as long as he keeps doing wonderful things for the country as he's doing, it won't stop because they're jealous. And I just don't understand the world, the country that they want, those on the left. I want law and order. I want lower taxes. I want lower food prices, lower prices for gas. I want to live in a country where the people speak English. I mean, those are just the things that I want. I don't want to walk around, Sandra, looking at illegals. I don't want to even look at them. I'm just being honest with you.
I know. I know.
I mean, that's just the way I feel. Thank you for the call. Let me squeeze in one more call. Christine, line 4, Staten Island. Christine, go right ahead. We're short on time.
Hi, Dom. Kathy Hochul was quick to point out that Alex Preddy had a concealed carry permit, yet she was very much against that when the Supreme Court passed that in 2022. Her first comment was that it was reckless, and she immediately introduced a bunch of restrictions applying to what she called sensitive locations like bars, right, libraries, schools, but hospitals, but interestingly enough, also Times Square. So I wonder, would Kathy Hochul support bringing guns, even if you have a concealed permit, to a protest? Somebody should really call her out on that.
Well, you raised some excellent points there, Christine. Well, we'll deal with that in the days ahead. Folks, I want you to stay dry, stay out of that snow, and I'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Busted. The reviews are in.
Awesome.
You wanted more Joe Concha. And we heard you. More Joe. More show.
We're talking to you. Under promise and over deliver.
Joe Concha, weeknights at 9. Plus, Sunday mornings at 11 on 77 WABC.
Jimmy Kimmel no longer tries to be funny. Not that he ever really was.
Joe Concha, weeknights at 9. Plus, Sunday mornings at 11.
Democrats defending cocaine coming into the country.